In fact, I was the first one to introduce Indian street food. Back in 2017, there was no Indian street food. Someone was, just doing homemade.
What's a dish, Indian dish, you would never put on your menu, independent of how popular it is?
This is very controversial. I was passionate, but also I think I had the courage to take that kind of risk. And you are right that, women entrepreneurs, the ratio is pretty low. I think that risk-taking capacity is where it kinds of, stops people doing from things that they want to try at least.
Bei uns in München sagt man am Freitagnachmittag Zwo Hoibe, Leberkassemmel. In dem Sinne, willkommen zu unserem Podcast Schnelles, Helles.
In unserer heutigen Folge geht es um Prateek und die Folge wird auch auf Englisch oder in Englisch aufgenommen und deswegen switche ich auch gleich. So Prateek, welcome, our special guest today.
Thank you, Elvis. Thank you.
Today we have two Prateeks. This is what I learned about you guys. We have one Prateek with TH, and in India you say H instead of H, so TH, and one Prateek without the H. And Mrs. Prateek Reen, nice to have you here. Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you. We're really looking forward to it.
I will just introduce how I got to know you. Prateek once told me that he found a very good, authentic, or maybe the only authentic restaurant back then in Munich, Indian restaurant. That's where you had your first restaurant, I guess. And today we will talk a little bit about your story, your arrival in Munich, and also the lately success that you had with a lot of things. So maybe the first question, when did you come to Munich and what's your background?
I'll be completing 10 years this December. So it's been a decade now in Munich, and Munich actually feels like home after 10 years, I would say. I came to Munich because I got married, and the plan was to kind of come Munich, start a new life. And coming from a corporate background, I had the idea that I'll be doing something of my own. But of course, coming to a new country, exploring new things. And when I landed in Munich, it took me some time to explore that what my really heart wants, what I want to start. And that's how the idea of Madam Chutney came when I moved to Munich.
So,
Yeah, maybe you can say some more words about yourself, like why you went to the restaurant business, what inspired you, what was like your first move. You can just tell us like very...
I would have another question before. Like, where from India are you? I mean, India is a huge, huge country. Like,
Gute Frage.
it's like a continent, and we know you, but
From a very, very beautiful state called Himachal. It's up north. It's a beautiful hill station. And the small town that I come from is called Shimla. And it has its very nice old world charm. It has one of the best schools in India. And I was lucky to study in a very good convent, which was like, still it's very popular in India. And that was where I was born, did my schooling. And then I was in Delhi, did my master's in management. And then I was working in the corporate. And after moving to Munich, as you know, that I had my business. And to answer your question that why Madam Chutney? So I would give you a little background. I always wanted to start something because my father is in his own business. So he's very passionate about what he does. So this was something I've been seeing growing up, and I wanted to do something of my own. And I'm a big, big foodie by heart. So when I say that, it doesn't mean that, I'm saying I'm just foodie. I literally plan my food. If I go on a vacation, I plan it. If I'm having breakfast, I would know what would what will be my next meal. So I really, really enjoy eating as well as cooking. Cooking, I would say it came because of my mom, my grandmom. The whole family is really big into cooking. They're very passionate. Even the men in my family, my dad, my granddad, they used to cook. So usually, in India, it's perceived that, that the women are always in the kitchen and they're cooking. But in our family, maybe it was a little different, that the men were also equally, they were the bread earners. My aunts, mostly, they were not working. Even my mom, she was a homemaker throughout her life. But I think that passion about creating good food and having that, because food in India is all about uh, getting together, bringing everyone together on the table. So I think that passion, that warmth is something that I wanted to bring along with me from India when I moved to Munich. And I think that it was the best way to do that was to actually have a restaurant where I can make things, like make good food for people and feel that feeling of home, away from home.
So, I mean, for the people that don't know you, you came from a corporate background to a complete different country, like a completely other world, let's say, and not coming from a restaurant family.
Yeah.
To get the idea to open a restaurant seems a little bit strange to come from a complete corporate background. So what is the origin of this idea, and how was it born?
See, of course, when I came back, I was missing Indian food. And I really enjoy good food. Somehow I had the feeling that, that authenticity was missing. So for myself, I was not able to find a place where I would say that, I want to go there. There are people who are good and good, really good. But for me, I wasn't satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
So how it started, I started cooking a lot at home and trying to recreate the dishes that my mom used to make. And then we started having a lot of house parties. I used to call my husband's friends, the new friends I was making in Munich after moving, the neighbors. And I realized that people really like my cooking and they really enjoy it. And after a few months, I just knew that, this is my calling. I really want to do this. I want to do this for a wider audience. It doesn't have to stay just with house parties. I want more people to try it. And that's how the first location, Alta Heidi, it was a very small test concept where I wanted to test, how the real authentic food is accepted by the larger audience. And in fact, I was the first one to introduce Indian street food. So there was back in 2017, there was no Indian street food. Someone was, just doing homemade, real Indian street food. And it was a big experiment, I would say, because people here in Germany are very familiar with, the traditional curries in a way, which I would say are kind of Germanized or localized in a way. And because, people think that, this is something like a safer option that you can, just make this and people already know this. So why experiment? But for me, I think it was some kind of a disruption I wanted to bring into the market, that no, it's time to change. You really need to try the Indian street food because it has so much to offer. And the Indian street food, when I brought, it was, of course, a big gamble, I would say, a big experiment. But I'm very glad it was very positively accepted by people. And as you know, Prateek, I met you there, that's how we connected. And people were waiting there in long queues, and it was getting very popular and people liked it. I did not localize it or Germanize it. So yeah, that's how I started.
Are you the first female entrepreneur from your family?
Yes.
Yes, really?
Yes.
You were like the first female entrepreneur out of your family, and
Yes.
like it's very unusual, especially like Southeast Asia. Yeah, female entrepreneurship, or like nowadays it's getting more, of course, women in tech, and the whole women in tech moment is there, but it's like it's still like very fresh. It's happened to the last 5 years, but so as having someone at the table who went down the path herself, now maybe you can tell like why you went to the entrepreneurship, like because no one out of your family like was a female entrepreneur. Your father is, yes,
Yeah.
And maybe so like there must be something which sparked that you say, hey, I'll go to entrepreneurship, because in India culturally it's not like really like usus, like usual to dive into entrepreneurship, like in when you go to a other country.
Yes.
Within expats, it's the rate of entrepreneurship is like very low still, also after with the Indian students in middle of Europe. So
Yes.
that was my question, like Indian female entrepreneurship, and also in a city where like tradition is everything. Like what was your why you did it?
Yeah.
Because you told it with the lens of food.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the question is, if it was not food, maybe it would have been something else.
Yeah. I think it's a mix of passion and also risk taking. I was passionate, but also I think I had the courage to take that kind of risk. And you are right that, women entrepreneurs, the ratio is pretty low. I think that risk taking capacity is where it kinds of, stops people doing from things that they want to try at least. And in my case, I think, especially, when you are getting married, you're in a different country, it's very different because financial stability is also a very big, it is a very big thing. And if you don't have support from your family, husband, of course, you still do things, but of course, it then becomes difficult. In my case, luckily, I was lucky to be in a position that my husband was very supportive. He's like, if you believe in yourself, go all out, take that risk, And of course, when I opened, it wasn't the best time, I would say, because that time the COVID also started when we opened the France Trust, the bigger location. But I think when you have the conviction and when you believe in yourself that, no, I will make it work and I know what I'm doing, I think that risk taking is that it's a small line, it's a thin line.
So you open a restaurant, and here at Schnelles, it's also a little bit focused on the entrepreneurial side. So tell us a little bit about the financial, organization, administrative challenges you had to open a restaurant. How did your husband help? How was the journey? So what happened in the beginning and how did it start?
Germany, when you look at a restaurant, people think that it's more of, the cooking and the working with the guests. But actually, there's a lot of bureaucracy that goes behind the paperwork. Like everyone is familiar, in Germany, the paperwork, the bureaucracy, the rules, you have to be on point. I was self-taught in my business because I didn't have a background. I didn't live in a foreign country before and moving to Germany. So everything was new. So I think every step, it was kind of I didn't have a mentor. It was just learning, experimenting, and just basically learning things on your own. That's how I did it. Lot of effort, I would say.
Yeah.
Now, when I look back, it seems a little unbelievable that, I've been to so many offices, just trying to figure out that, even a simplest thing, but you have to kind of, find a lead to make things work.
Especially if this is not your mother tongue. I cannot believe if you come to another country and you have to deal with all the bureaucracy and the taxes and all these certificates that you have to do in a different language that you don't know, because these documents are not there in English.
Yeah.
So how did you manage this?
This, I think you learn with time. You have to make things work. This is what, when I said risk taking, and, it's about mindset also. When you think, like if I tell someone, that, okay, German, you don't know the language, how will you start a business? There are two ways of looking at things. I can tell them, no, it's very difficult. Or the other way is, yeah, it is difficult. But do you really want it? So in my case, I really wanted things to work. So for me, I had to kind of figure out my way.
So you just translated everything, figured out
every single word, yeah. And when you are actually, then you are more conscious, then you are like, okay, are you doing the right thing? I think that's kind of, it's like a 4-eye rule then, somehow that you are doing. Then I have to tell my husband that, please make sure. I think it was a lot of effort, but it was just that I wanted things to work and make it happen. I think having a good team is very, very crucial. It is not about what you aspire, this is the end result. But I think this is what I learned with time. Before, it was like the end goal. But how to get to that end goal is what builds a good business.
Yeah.
It's the people who actually make the business. You have to really focus on people. building the team. Whatever you aspire, you can only achieve when you believe in the people you work with.
Yeah, but talking about these people, you're here alone with your husband, like you don't know anybody.
Yeah.
So how did you build the team in the beginning? How many people started in the, let's say, you said
Yeah.
bigger restaurants?
Find
but
your first employee.
we have to talk about, like, for the records, you have
Yeah.
had one small restaurant and
Yeah.
then you moved into a bigger one. But talking about this first restaurant, the small one, how many people started there? Who was in the kitchen?
See,
Who
it
was
was not
waiter?
really-
What?
It was a one-man show in the beginning.
Yeah.
I was cooking, I was serving, I was procuring all the material, cooking, maintaining the inventory, doing the casa, doing all the paperwork. So it was actually a one-man show.
For how long?
It was for a couple of months.
Okay.
I love that you told Casa.
So it is a couple of months, and because I was learning, as I told you, everything was kind of self-taught. And then slowly you start, getting people, sometimes the right people, sometimes the wrong
But
people.
where? Where did you get them?
You do, like, you start like my first employee was like a mini jobber, I wanted to kind of just get some kind of help because it was too much for me at that point. But then slowly, I think when you are even a very small business, but if you're good to people, you spread the word and people somehow they come to you that they want to work with you.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think like for us, I think now we're at a point that we know that we are a employer of choice, that people want to and they want to work with us.
I always felt in Munich is like one of the lebenswertesten Städte, like one of the cities with the highest life quality. Yeah. And then nowadays, like 2025, there was a voting of internations. Yeah. And from the expats, Munich got, I think, placed last even. Yeah. I think it's the worst. Maybe Oscar, you can fact check internations voting expats of cities in Europe. And I think Munich got the last place. And number one is, I guess, Malaga, but I'm not sure anymore.
So less expats coming to Munich to me.
No, like it's about
was
life
the
quality.
least
Life
nicest.
quality.
Yeah, how they're happy, how it's able for them to integrate to the city.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, what this tells me is that the possibility for a person who is expat, maybe not born here, or like called Bildungsinländer, who came with 10 years old and then went to school here, or like got into the Munich traditions. It's I think maybe I always thought that it's the city with the highest life quality, but maybe together with competing with Vienna.
Yeah.
And when this statistic came out, I was like really shocked. Yeah. And since that, when I used to now talk with expats, especially like with employees and so on, they all had like a certain gate where they said like, hey, before I joined you guys or get to know you guys, I was like almost like in a small kind of depression, because the city is so cold. It's hard to.
Yeah.
There are not that many opportunities. It's like it feels like a village and like a cold kind of place. So where my question is, so as I know you now, yeah, you're like very much established, and then you're very well connected. So you're like part of the city, yeah, and then you're one of the faces of the city, even maybe you're representing the Indian community, yeah. So what would you say in because you have been maybe seeing like both sides, yeah. Outside, like expat and expat, and then insider.
Yeah.
So maybe like really interested in your views on this and how it is also intervened with business.
See, it's the most common thing I've heard that, when expats come to Germany, they find it very difficult. So the conclusion all these years I have is that, Munich is a tough city to when you come new. I think we are too harsh when we're comparing. Like when we're coming from India is always busy. You have your neighbors around. It's very chaotic. There's always some action around you. Munich is much quieter. People are more conservative in their ways. Like the neighbors don't talk to each other. In India, it's like, your neighbor who is doing what. So I think that cultural contrast is when people come, they just start comparing. And then it's when, it gets hard on you. It happened with me as well that, okay, why is it so quiet? And why are people not saying good morning or hi, hello, when in the morning when you're going to work? But I think with time, when you actually kind of start settling a little and with work, then you see the positive sides.
What's the biggest misconception Germans have about Indian food, and how are you trying to change it?
That we eat spicy food all the time.
You're-
We start with chili from a breakfast. We eat spicy food, but it's like it has to be like it's in moderation. It's the flavor. It's not just the chili that makes the food interesting. That's something I think we're trying to change and tell people that we are not just eating chilies.
Okay. What's a dish, Indian dish, you would never put on your menu, independent of how popular it is?
This is very controversial, but mango chicken.
Mango chicken. Was? Oh, calm down. Calm down. I know you're a mango chicken. Calm down. I know you're a mango chicken freak. Why mango chicken?
In Germany, it's one of the most popular dishes that restaurants sell, I know. But it's not the most common, it's not a common dish in India, actually. So,
It's not your national dish? No. There is no
Zweimal Mango Chicken, bitte.
this is something
Mango
I think
chicken.
I would stay away.
Speaking about the Indian kitchen, it is a very large or wide variation of ingredients and dishes, but ingredients itself.
Yeah.
What was the craziest ingredient that you really smuggled into Germany, and how did you get it here?
I'm very proud of one of our desserts called pan ice cream.
It's my favorite dessert, by the way.
So the leaf, because in India, it's like a quintessential that, after your dinner, like, people like the families, they go for a walk, and then there are small local shops, the pan wala, you ask him to roll a pan for you. And this is something, it's a part of the culture, I would say. And I really wished that we could have something here. But, unfortunately, we cannot, keep the pan for a very long time. It has to be fresh. So to transport it from India, I made a recipe with the ice cream, which I'm very proud of. That this ingredient I was able to get and still keep the flavors intact and serve it in Germany.
Why was it so hard to get the pan leaf? Or what was so hard?
It's not a local leaf that you can get. So we get it from India. So, something which can be not locally procured. It is difficult, and especially when you're doing it commercially, you need volumes. And then it has to be that you can't one day have it on the menu and next day you say, no, it's not available. So, so for me, it was important that how we kind of, it's there.
So Prateek, now we are a business podcast, actually. So now because of that, I would like to know the quintessence, like the
Quintessence.
quintessence, the quintessence. That's a really, well, that's good. So so would you say, as someone originally not German speaking, it is tougher to not regarding the bureaucracy, but like to roll out a business, because you have been like successful from immediately, like from the first month onwards, or like first 3 months, and the same kind of pattern I can see it with all my pals from the universities and so on, who have like are like of Indian descendant. So would you say does it play a role, the language barrier, for having success in business in Munich?
See, it's tough. Of course, if it is something you start new, if it is 1x stuff, if you don't know the language, it's 5x stuff. This is the reality. But it's not impossible, I would say. And knowing the language, of course, it gives you an edge understanding what you're doing. Also, it more than the practicality of learning the language, I think it kind of helps you understand the local culture. When, of course, when you and I talk to you, if I know the local language, I have a different connection. So I think knowing the language is definitely something one should really focus when they think of starting a business. It definitely gives you an edge.
But you made it also without always talking. But I know that you can speak a little bit of German, but you are especially like you're with us. You feel more comfortable with English, right? So you still made it to be successful without the even the language barrier being there.
Yeah.
So maybe you can tell like some key ingredients. Yeah.
I think it's a mindset. I think, for me, a lot of people will say, oh, actually that's true. That when people meet me, they were like, oh, first question is like, but do you speak the language? And I'm like, yeah, I understand, but yeah, I'm not fluent in German. But that never kind of stopped me from what I wanted to achieve, I would say. So I think it's about mindset. The way is tough, I would say. Like I said, it's always good to be fluent in the local language. But one good thing is in German that also, people talk in English. So with English, and if you are good with your English, I think it helps.
So in the beginning, when we came to used to visit Madam Chutney, it was almost only Indian community over there. Yeah, so that was like a kind of, for other Indians, like a stamp. Hey, this is authentic. Yeah. And then nowadays it's almost only Germans. Yeah, like real Munich people. When I come there, I see someone from my old football team when I was 14 or something like this. So what happened there? And is it something what you would say you can also find a correlation between changing the menu or something like this?
No, see, I think it's a huge compliment when you, in any restaurant, like if it's a Indian restaurant, if you see more Indians, or if it's an Italian restaurant, when you see more Italians, it tells about the credibility of the restaurant that, the people know that, the food is authentic. So I think initially it was a good check for us that, that we are on the right path, that, we are staying true to our roots. And that's why, the Indian community, we see them coming to us for authentic Indian food. And, as this word spreads, because we are in Germany, the larger population is still German population. And, when an Indian tells a German colleague that, this is my favorite Indian restaurant in Germany, in Munich, I think that kind of validates.
Yeah.
And
I really get asked every week, what's your favorite Indian restaurant in Munich?
Well, almost
every week.
yeah, because
I don't know why. As a
why are people asking a Peruvian guy what's his favorite Indian restaurant is? Maybe I don't know. Maybe you can tell me.
Yeah, I don't know. They mistake me for Indian. Maybe I don't. Just a guess.
In Munich?
Yeah. I think it's in Munich. They're like very small Peruvian community. It's just me and Claudio Pizarro.
That's it.
It's just the two of us.
Yes.
There was once also Jefferson Verfahren for an Auswärtsspiel, but after that, das war's. Yeah.
But you're not alone.
No, it's Claudio's stay here. It's all good. But
so, after opening your first restaurant, then moving to your second restaurant, you got quite popular. Not only in the Munich scene, I would also say maybe in Bavaria, South Germany, people from Germany knew your restaurant, Madam Chutney, also the name. It's very catchy. It stays in your mind. And people from whole Germany went to Munich to test the restaurant, to eat the restaurant, and to also really feel the authenticity of your restaurant. So when did you get so popular, and why people came to you and approached you to make a documentary about you? Tell us about this.
I think popularity comes with, the authenticity. I have been authentic to my roots since the day one I started. good days or bad days, I've been consistent. I've always, it's like when you fail, I would say fail fast and learn from it. I've never hesitated from learning new things in business.
So yeah, when you fail faster, and then you
Yeah.
can continue.
No, I think people, for me, anything that is like an article or any publication, so you don't know
Mhm.
that they are there to test the food. So we have like hundreds of customers every day. So it's not that we give them any special importance. So it's a surprise for us, if some publication comes in the newspaper and then in the morning before you see the newspaper and, your friend calls you or you see a WhatsApp message that, hey, you were there. So it comes as a surprise to you. So I think because it's just word of mouth. If someone likes the food, of course, you tell your colleague and then they come and if they like it. And that's how the word of mouth kind of spread for us.
Did that documentary open new doors for you or new challenges?
I think personally for me,
Mhm.
it was a very positive acknowledgement because sometimes when you're just rushing and just trying to, work, trying to make things perfect, learn every day. For me, it was like it helped me kind of pause and kind of reflect that, you've come this far.
Mm.
And, it's not just like always running. And also getting that feedback, I think it was very empowering. I think it really kind of refreshed me in a way that, yes, you've been working so hard and people that you're not unnoticed. People kind of acknowledge what you're doing. They respect it and they love it, what you're doing. So I think the documentary for me that way, I never thought about it while we were shooting and when it came. But when it was actually on air, it was live. I think because I got a very overwhelming response, I would say. And personally for me and the team, I was very happy that, it takes a full team to kind of put up the whole show. And so I think that acknowledgement, it definitely kinds of gives you a new push that, yes, we have to do more, even better.
Yes.
Yeah, I also had one documentary with ID
Yeah, you mentioned.
in 2014, and so now sometimes like if I look back at that after like 10 years or
Yeah.
something, I saw a video. It was Hey Uni, was the name of the format, and I was same like you, one of the protagonists.
Yeah.
And they were like accompanying 5 students, and I have one of
Yeah.
the 5 students. And when I looked at myself back then, because when you see to the TV, you
Yeah.
see it through the lens
Yeah.
and through the eyes of someone else, the director and the cameraman, then you don't. I think it's like a almost kind of a spiritual experience if you see
Yeah.
yourself broadcasted on the TV. You see it. You don't see the same person that you are. It's
Yeah.
okay, that's a person, but
Yeah.
why I'm acting so bad? Is it really me? And then you just don't watch it. and so now when I see it, I think, okay, was a cool guy.
Yeah.
But back then, I think it is a step to accept, hey, this is
Yeah.
how I'm, like,
Yes.
also how I am to the eyes and the lens of
Yeah.
another guy. Did you have like similar kind of experience?
It really helps you reflect in terms of business, that how you started and how the whole journey was and where you are in terms of your emotional aspect, your professional aspect, your family, your friends, your team. I think everything just comes as a flashback. That how did you come in? While you are in it, you don't realize it. But there's so many different areas, different elements that, come together to get to where you are today. I think it was a very, very good, reflection. I mean, like a flashback to see.
Imagining that you see your whole life from being born to going to Germany, Munich, opening this restaurant, seeing your parents again, all these old pictures.
Yeah.
How was the feeling to see all of your life again on a screen? And how did this change the way you see your past or your future or your present?
it's a very personal thing. I would maybe it helps someone. When this business, everyone wants to do good business. Everyone who, I am very passionate about in whatever I do, whether it was a corporate or I'm doing anything in something in my home, or even if I organize an event or it's my professional, whatever I do, I know that I go all in. I do it with full passion.
I mean, seeing all of this,
Yeah.
how did it change how you see your past if you see it really on screen?
Why the whole process of the documentary was very intense. I didn't when I signed up for it. When it was a long procedure, when they select you, and because it was tough. We were the only Indian restaurant in Germany that in the documentary that we had our old episode. So of course the whole process is intense, and you have to do it on your credit. That that they have to be convinced that everything is authentic. And while you are in it, you are just because you are committing your time with them, with the shoot, and nothing is scripted. Nothing at all is scripted. So, because now when I look back, I would not cry so much, I would not show that vulnerable side of me, because at work, I'm more like, professional, like a businesswoman who's working, who is just very focused at her work. And when I see, and I was like, why was I crying so much? But, but at the end of the day, we're all humans. We have a very strong emotional aspect. And the documentary, I said, it kind of helps you reflect that from where you started. I never imagined myself being so vulnerable, And when we went to Shimla, my hometown, we were sitting in the Gurdwara, the Sikh temple, and just tell you in short, and that's the place where my grandfather served for 40 years as the head priest. And I was born in the same building because he had a small apartment where his whole family, all his kids and the kids of kids were living. And it was a big family in a very small space. And while just sitting there and just imagining that, people from Germany are traveling with you and they're making a documentary on you, what you've achieved. But, 30 years back, I was there like a small girl playing around, having no idea. Country, where is country, where is Germany even on the map, and just how different culturally we are, language, culture, the demography. It's just overwhelming when you think about it, that where life takes you. Of course, you build your life. You really work hard to get there where you are. But I think that point when we were shooting in Shimla, I just kind of broke down. For me, I did not imagine. I was like, what am I doing here? Why are these people here, And it was a very, very, very touching, emotional experience for me personally.
That's why also I would say it was also that successful. I mean, it was 6 episodes, I think, in the whole series, 6 different episodes.
6
right?
different.
You were in 5 different protagonists.
So we had one full episode to.
And you won the Deutsche Fernsehpreis, right? For that?
No, we were nominated.
Yeah.
One of the best documentaries. So we were one of the nominations out of 5.
But for the Emmy also, you were nominated, right?
No,
Emmys.
no. We called it the Emmys of Germany.
Yeah, okay. Yes. To see also this authenticity in the documentary, this is also what we can say, all of this entrepreneurial lifestyle, it's always tough. You always show the side of the hustle.
Yeah.
But this vulnerability, actually, if you're in a rush, you don't feel it that much. But when you look back and see where you come from and what you really achieved, this is a huge thing, I would say now, to see on a screen also.
Yeah.
Seeing your parents, your grandparents, your friends, and how everybody grew up and also grew apart, actually. And then I can remember this one scene where you were sitting with all of your girlfriends from school, I think, in this restaurant, and everybody talked about how they got to know you, and then they got to know that you are flying to Germany and then opening a restaurant. And also what I can say, that how everybody talked, you could really feel that they're really proud from their hearts of what you have achieved. And if you're in a rush, these conversations are not there like this. So how was it to hear all of this in the documentary?
The restaurant business, when you see a full restaurant on a Friday, Saturday evening, it looks very flashy. Everyone wants to open a restaurant. It's fun, it's fun. But the work behind it, all the action, is a very different story. And I think it kind of helped you show the back end of the whole story, that what is the whole action, how real people kind of make the whole show work. And like you said, the people who know me personally, your friends from school, I think they know you the best because they've seen the good and the bad and the ugly of you. And they see that that okay, you put up a brave face, you are this very professional person at work, but sometimes you have your tough days. But you still have to be professional. You have to deliver. There's a full team who is looking at you, and as a boss, you have to deliver, and you have to be on top of your game. But the vulnerable side is also, you have to see how you kind of handle it and how you learn to manage your personal life along with your professional life.
What was the most difficult actually to be in the kitchen with all these chefs? I know chefs are very hard, dominant, very crazy people.
Did you watch the series Bear?
Yes, I have. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yes, and how difficult was it for you to get a voice in this kitchen?
See, I'm self-taught. I work on the recipes that have been passed on from my mom, my grandmom, because all the women in the family were really into cooking, even the men in my family. But when you have a professional cook, everyone has a different style. Like you have one dish and everyone has a different style of doing it. And someone who's worked in the industry, we always get the best from the industry. So it's kind of a little bit of untraining them that, we have a set recipes that we work on and not just get something that because, we want to, what we believe in, what we're doing. We just can't keep changing the recipe with a new hiring, with a new cook. And sometimes some people really acknowledge it, but there's some tough nuts to crack. Then they are like, okay, it's my style. I've been doing it for like 15 years and, you are younger than me and how can you do it?
Yeah.
And also coming from a female boss can sometimes be a little difficult because it's just a cultural thing. Sometimes, maybe throughout their career, if they worked for like 15, 20 years, they've not worked with a female colleague. And now having a female boss is all of a sudden, it's a big change. But this, I think in my case, why it worked is because they know that, when I say something, I deliver. So I work very closely with my team. And they know that, when she says something, she knows what she is saying. So I think that credibility you can only build when you know what you're doing and you also deliver and just don't bluff it. So with my team, I know if I commit something, they know that I will deliver. They can really rely on me as a boss. And I also work hard. I think when they see me committed to my work, that commitment kind of, that ecosystem kind of forms within the company. Because I think when you just start acting like a boss, then people kind of lose respect. So when you walk the talk, I think people believe in you and they respect you. I think more than work, if you gain that respect, is very important for building a successful business.
Prateek, for a person who comes newly into the country and has no German language skills and has no business experience and wants to be an entrepreneur and make the first step into a business, what are your 2 tips which you would give to every entrepreneur?
So my first tip would be there is no shortcut to hard work. No matter what, you have to put in the hours. You have to learn the art, and only then you can succeed. If you think you will find a formula somewhere or, watch some podcasts and, just learn the formula. It really doesn't work. You have to put in the hard work. That's my biggest learning throughout my career and building up this business. Second is believe in yourself. On the way, you'll meet a lot of people who will discourage you that, you are doing this? No, it won't work. It won't work. No, you have to believe in yourself. You will have more bad days than good days, I would say, in the beginning. But that's where the real challenge is. If you kind of get through that hurdle, you will flourish. You will definitely flourish.
So maybe last question and then finito.
Last question.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are the next steps for Madam Chutney?
Right now we've been having so many guests from different parts of Germany, actually, who actually, it's so surprising. Sometimes they said, okay, we drove from 2 hours away, 3 hours away because we wanted to try the food and we were thinking, let's go to Munich. And, but this was just there on a list. So we want to, the plan is to expand. And we really want to cater to different parts of Germany and Europe. And sure, people will love it when they have Madam Chutney in different cities, and they can try the food.
So, unser Helles ist leer. Das heißt, wir sind zum Ende unseres Podcasts gekommen. Und Prateek, thank you so much for being our guest.
Thank you, Prateek.
And we wish you all the best for the next steps of Madam Chutney. You really achieved a lot. I'm glad to see what happened actually and what grew out of the idea to open a restaurant. You really got a German-wide famous restaurant owner with, I would say, one of the best, if not the best, Indian restaurant in Germany. And we wish you all the best.
Yeah.
And I would end this episode with something that we also say in Munich.
Yeah.
And I would say it in German, if it's okay for you guys.
Yeah.
Can I say it?
Yeah.
Okay. Wenn der Leberkass gut ist, dann brauchst du keinen Senf.
In dem Sinne, bis zum nächsten Mal bei unserem Podcast Schnelles Helles.